This afternoon, I saw something impressive, so much so that it drew my attention to speaking about it. So, I saw a school. That school has the state label, Arise, that pupils were coming out of the school with orange top, orange shirt, and green shorts. So that particular thing drew my attention, and I was so impressed seeing pupils coming out of the school compound very neat. And the school compound was also very neat, well fenced, the structures inside polished. It was a very impressive sight to me. Now, something struck my head. I started reminiscing around the state, the country, the kind of public schools other children are going to. Now, I asked myself in the process, could this be the reason public schools seem as if they are no more in existence? Because I'm trying to think of what actually birthed the belief that a public school, a public primary or secondary school should look like one dilapidated building, one forgotten building with no roof. Some don't have roof, some and are completely outdated. Some are completely defaced. Yet, those are the kinds of places that government expects pupils to go and learn. So now, with the advent of this new model school by the state, it now gives a different thought, a different orientation of how a school should look like, irrespective of who owns it, irrespective of the ownership, be it public or private. A school is a learning environment, and someone's learning ability and learning perception develops based on how the person finds where the person finds himself. Imagine sitting in an uncompleted building, learning about the White House, learning about Ibom Tower, learning about those expensive, polished, and fashionable places. Then what are you learning? You looked around yourself. You look like a condemned person. You look like a madman in a dilapidated building. So that thing really gave me more thought to talk about education in Nigeria. What actually gave us that conviction? What actually gave us the the ideology that a public school should be left to look like an uncompleted building? Now, with this new dimension, with this new direction that the state government is taking, you can foresee that there is that tendency and the possibility of public school regaining its strength, regaining its place of pride over private schools. If government continue in this model, I'm telling you that the public schools will regain its place. Because actually, I don't think there's any parent, any guidance that will allow, at this point, at this moment, will allow, that will choose a public school over a private school for its word. It's not possible because the private school is currently doing better in terms of security, in terms of education, in terms of commitment of the teachers. It's not that the teachers are better. One thing so funny is that the teachers in the private schools are not even better because they cannot afford to employ those people with higher qualifications. They're even managing something like the NCE and any other qualification as far as the person in possession of those qualifications are smart, active, and willing to work. But they do better because of the commitment. Supervision is paramount. Go to supervision because they are active administrators put in place to monitor the process of teaching and learning in the school. That makes it very easy for a private school to do better. Unlike the public schools, whereby the school is left to, to function on its own as if an inanimate object can get life. That is what has been happening. If you go in there, you will notice that Most of the pupils are left to wander about without any care. And maybe on Fridays, they will be made to go to the farm or to go to clear the school compounds around. This is the fate of the pupils in public schools. Understand? So I really appreciate the state government in this new move. I really appreciate private public school is on its way to revival. It is on its way to revival if this particular move reaches every nooks and crannies of the state. The public school will be revived. Public school will regain its place of pride that we have lost for years, because the belief has been finalized that anything public school has to be in a dilapidated building, which is not supposed to be so. A learning environment must reflect learning itself. Every learning environment has to reflect learning itself. If there's no learning, you get into an environment and you see that the environment is devoid of learning, what someone should learn is totally absent, then how can learning take place in such an environment? How can learning take place in such an environment? It's absolutely impossible. So I appreciate the state government